Hey guys, welcome back to Team Spirit, and in this video we're going to be making a very simple timer app. So I'm going to begin by opening up Xcode, making up a new Xcode project, single view app. Actually, I don't even know what it's called these days. It's just an app, not a single view app. Let's just call it timer. I'm going to save it right here on my desktop. And now we here have this. So let's start off with the main.storyboard, shall we? So the first thing we're going to have to do is let's bring in a text view. Now this text view is the way the user will interact with the app. So in this, maybe just quickly zoom in a little bit so you can see. So in the text view, we're going to have the timer running, and the user will be able to input exactly what time they want to count down from. So for now, we'll just start off with 0.00, basically like this, and then let's do ultralight, maybe 70, seems to be reasonably large, looks good. Let's just place that about here in the center, and we'll just center line the text, make it slightly wider. Okay, so that is our text view. Now what we're going to need is, let's take a tilted button. You can actually take any button you want. I just like how this tilted one looks, so I'm using it. So let's have one right here. This is going to be our start button, and right below that we're going to have a reset button. So these are going to be, this is basically an entire UI if you think about it. It's going to be pretty simple. So yeah, let's just close that and bring up the assistant editor. Get rid of that because who needs that? I just realized this is not the iPhone 13, so let's choose that. Let's bring everything back to the center of the screen. Okay, so over here, oops, what did I do over there? Let's see. Okay, so oh my god. Okay, finally. So let me just reposition the windows a little bit better. So this will come like that, and let's just pull this way up over here. I like this. Alright, so first of all, it's going to be our time, oh my god, our time text view, and this is going to be our start button, and this will be our reset button. Let's see. Oops, messed that up. Okay, so we'll put this to this. Oh my god, I'm so confused right now. Okay, let's just do this again. I completely messed that up. So put this here, going to be start button, and another one below that. There we go. This will be our reset button. So there we go. So there are the outlets, and when we start, we actually don't want to show the reset button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and go down here. And check this hidden box. So as you can see, that is a very small checkbox here that says hidden. Just check that, and you'll notice that when we run the app, this is just going to be hidden. So let's just run this. Let's see. Ooh, this is a horrible simulator. Get rid of that. We want the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Bye app delegate. So there we go. So this is how it should be looking, and that's what we've programmed to look like. So far so good, everything's working fine. Okay, so let's start off with this. This is going to be our start timer. Oh my god, my typing is horrible today, isn't it? Make that a UI button, right, because it's a UI button. That's going to be a start action, and then let's have a reset right here, reset clicked, or whatever you want, reset timer. Let's just, like, I don't know, be consistent with all the typing and stuff. Click on connect, and there we go. So this is basically all we're going to have in this view controller for now. Okay, so let's think about how we want the timer to work. We need the timer to start at a given time, and then it should be just counting down until it reaches 0000, right? That's the end state. So one way to do this, we can allow the user to input like delete this, and let's say 9 hours. Okay, that's 90 hours. 9 hours 70. Oh my god, what am I doing? 7. Okay, 54 minutes and 34 seconds, say, for example. And then we have to recognize, okay, this is 9, this is 54, this is 34, and then we have to start counting down from 34, and then we should see when are we reaching 0, and then that's a big mess. So one really nice way to do this is to just convert all of this, like the entire time, into seconds format. So if we have it in terms of seconds, then what we can basically do is count down the seconds, and from the seconds we can convert it back into this time format, and that way, you know, everything's just going to be a lot easier. So let's see how we can do that. Let's start by creating a Swift file. I'm just going to call this timer.time conversions. Okay, so I already actually have this file typed out right here, as you can see. I will just put like a download link in the description. You can download it. I'm going to type it out anyway so that I can explain it, but I'm just letting you know, if you don't care about this, it's just going to be in the description. Okay, so the first function is just going to be seconds to time, and we're going to take in some sort of seconds and return a string. That's it, return a string. So just to make it shut up, let's just return an empty string. So how is this going to work? We're going to input some amount of seconds, okay, and we're going to slowly convert the seconds in terms of minutes and hours, and then return that. Okay, so let's just create seconds, just seconds. And why am I doing this? Why can't I just use this? The reason is the seconds is going to be some sort of a constant. That is, I can't update it, I can't change it. So that's why I made this seconds, the E meaning editable. Okay, so next let's have minutes, which is just going to be 0, and bar hours, which is also going to be 0. So this is what we're going to have. So the first case is that the seconds is less than 60. So what does this mean? Doesn't really matter with this, return seconds, right? Return seconds. Okay, not really great idea, right? For example, if I enter this 59 seconds, I want this to still show 00:00:59, right? I want this to come. So what I actually need to have here is not just seconds, but 00:00:seconds, right? Okay, what if I input just 9 seconds? Then it's just going to be looking like this. Oh, 1 second. It's going to look like this, and that just looks ugly, right? We want to have the 0 here. That looks way better, at least to my eyes. So what we're going to do is use a ternary operator. The way that works is pretty simple. We're going to say if seconds is less than 10, what does that mean? It means that it is a single digit number. So then we can put this question mark, and here we can type out the stuff that we want. So we need 0, and then we need the second string, right? Like that. And then you can put a colon, and then this is what we have otherwise. What problem do we have here? Oh my bad. Okay, this should be fine now. Cool. The next thing we're going to check is, this isn't the only case, right? We have a bunch of cases. We're going to check if seconds is exactly 60. Then we're going to just return 1 minute. Just like that. Lastly, in here goes all other logic goes here, not oops, my bad, goes here. Okay, so we're going to be just converting the seconds into how many of the minutes, and then we'll convert the minutes into hours. So we're going to check while e seconds is less than, let's see, greater than or equal to 60. So that means while loop will keep running until the e seconds is greater than or equal to 60. Okay, so we're going to increment minutes by 1, and then we're going to say e seconds minus equals 60. What is the logic? Okay, so let's say they input 82 seconds, right? We're going to skip through all of this and come right into here. So while e seconds is greater than or equal to 60, so e seconds in this case is going to be 82. So 82 is clearly greater than 60, so it will add 1 to minutes, so we have 1 minute, and we'll have 22 seconds, and then we're going to stop going through the while loop, and successfully we have converted the seconds to 1 minute and 22 seconds. So that's kind of the logic we're going to put here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to say while minutes is greater than or equal to 60, we're going to add 1 to hours and subtract 60 from minutes. Now the thing is, we don't want the timer to keep running for 24 hours, right? So we'll say if hours is 24, right here we're just going to return off here 24 using those section. We're going to return out right here. We don't want to go past the 1 day mark. That's pretty long if you ask me. Okay, so now we're going to convert each, so this is the point, right? We have these in terms of integers. So when we present it in the text label here, that is the text view here, it's just going to be like, if it's a single digit number, that is, it will look like this. That just looks stupidly ugly to me, so I want it to look like this. So how can I do that? Use the magical ternary operator, right? So let's say let hours string is equal to, and what we're going to do is we're going to check if hours is less than 10. In that case, we want this to be equal to, that is the hour string to be equal to 0 followed by the hours. Otherwise, you can just have the string of hours. Or you know what, let's just use the I forgot what it's called. Anyways, let's just copy paste it for minutes and seconds. So minute string is going to be minutes, it's going to be minutes, this is also going to be minutes, and then it's going to be seconds string, make that seconds, make that seconds, and make that seconds, and we're just going to return the following. So we'll have the hour string, and then we'll have the minute string, and then we'll have the second string. Actually, this is the wrong variable. We want e seconds. Let's see, seconds. Okay, let's see if this is acceptable. Build this. Okay, that looks good. Now we can get into this return statement because we're returning everywhere else. Okay, so this is good, right? So every time we minimize it by seconds, we can just put that second value through this function, and that is just going to give us some string that we can display in this text view. Okay, so the next problem that we have is that we need to convert whatever is there in the text view into seconds. So that's what we're going to do next. So before that, okay, let's just do this afterwards. So we'll say func time to seconds. You can call it literally whatever you want, but I'm just going to call it this. And we're going to mark this as throws. I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm going to say let metrics is going to be time, that is the time that we get. So it's going to be the text of the text view. And we're going to split it by a colon. So the reason is we're splitting hours, minutes and seconds by a colon each. So when we do this, we're going to have in metrics 1, 5 and 9. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to say guard hours or let hours is equal to the integer of metrics at the first spot, else we're going to throw. Now what is the logic here? So we're checking if hours, so basically metrics okay, so in this case let's just take the case of what's there in the text view. Having gone through this part, metrics will be this 0 1, the next element will be 0 5 and then the next element will be 0 9. So now we have to convert this into actual integers that we can do mathematical operations with. So we are going to convert this 1 in the 0 1 into just 1 as an integer. So we're doing that right here, but there is always a chance that, you know, instead of this part they could have just typed this. Then we're going to have a problem, right? We can't convert that into an integer. So that is why we are going to mark it with this throw. That is what we're going to throw. We'll get errors for now. We'll fix it in a second. So this is going to be our minutes, and this is going to be our seconds. This will be the second element, this will be the third element. And if you're confused, you know, why am I saying first element but marking it as 0 and second element marking it as 1? The reason is because index starts at 0. Okay, so now we'll say return hours times 3600. The reason is hours, we're going to convert everything into seconds, and 1 hour is 3600 seconds. So how many hours we have, we want that many seconds. Okay, so similarly we're going to say minutes times 60. Oh, wait a minute, are we inside this function call? Oh, that explains it. Let's get rid of that and paste it here. Okay, I typed all of this inside the signature of this function, so that was the kind of problem. And now I can do seconds, and that's it, right? Because 1 second is 1 second exactly. Okay, we're getting some errors. So the reason is we're throwing, but we're not throwing anything exactly. So what we're going to just do for, if there's a better way to solve this, just let me know. I couldn't really come up with anything, so this is what I did. So I just created an enum called tm error, like tm for timer. And let's just confirm that to error. We're just going to have a case that says err, right? Just a dummy error. There's really no use for that. It's just to shut Xcode up basically. So let's just do that, and I'm just going to copy this basically and then paste. Oh my god, what was that? Copy this work. There we go, and then paste. Okay, so there we go. These are our functions that are all set to work with the timer. Alright, so the next part is going to be working with our beautiful, wonderful, amazing new controller.swift. Okay, here we go. The first thing we're going to do is say bar seconds, right? Like this is like our source of truth. Everything depends on the seconds. The next thing we're going to need is a timer, like to do the actual like counting down stuff. Yeah, that's what the timer is for. And let's just start now. Okay, so we're going to start off by getting some information from the timer. So let's say guard let timer info. The timer info is basically whatever information is there in the timer, like whether it be random text or actual time formats or whatever. We're going to handle that right here. So is equal to time, let's see, time text view dot text, else returning will be done by us. Okay, so now we're going to say seconds is equal to time to seconds for timer info. Beautiful. That's really convenient, right? We just pass in whatever the user inputted here and we'll get it in seconds. However, we get one wonderful error. The reason is we're not handling the throw, right? Time to seconds, if you can check right here, actually throws errors. So let's handle that. So how can we handle throwing errors or whatever they call it? Using do try catch blocks, right? So catch, and there we go. Okay, should be in the blue block, and we're going to just mark this with try. Else we will just print how unfortunate. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so now we have seconds. Now what do we do? What are the different possible things that we can have when we have a timer input like this? One actual possible input is literally this, right? What are we going to do here? Keep counting to -2, -3 and keep going? That just is useless. So what we're going to basically do is that we're going to check if second is greater than 0, or second is greater than 0, else we will return. We'll handle all these returning out stuff later with certain specific alerts. Let's just hope the video isn't too long, honestly. Now after doing this, passing the guard, it basically means that we have some sort of a valid time. So then in that case we can disable the timer text view. There we go. Dot is editable. We're going to set that to false. We don't want it to be editable anymore. The reason is while the timer is running, we don't want the user to fiddle with the timer, right? So that's why we're making it false. Then we will enable the reset button. So reset button dot is hidden is equal to false. So now after we start the timer is when we want the user to be able to reset the timer, right? So that is why we are doing that. And finally, sorry, you can say timer dot invalidate. This is just to make sure the timer is not already running. And having invalidated it, we can start a new scheduled timer. 1 second, target is going to be, it can be anything, let's just say self. Settle, we'll get back to that in a second. User info, we have nothing. Use repeats is going to be absolutely freaking true. Right, now let's get into the selector part. If you've done this like 10,000 times, you should be like in your head by this point. I'm just so bored of typing out a selector, hashtag selector, and then we will say count, and there we go. Okay, so now we will say seconds minus equals 1, and then all we're going to have to do now is say time text view dot text is equal to seconds to time for seconds. There we go. This actually should work. Let's run this and see if this primitive form of the timer works. So let's just set up maybe 1 hour exactly. Hit start. There we go. Works perfectly. This is exactly what we want. And I can click start how many ever times I want, and you can see that it doesn't crash. Now you'll see what happens if I don't invalidate it right here. Oops, I closed that. Could have been my mistake. If I don't give this timer dot invalidate, just look at what happens. It's going to be an absolute disaster. Just crash. Hit start. Start again. Hit start again. Do you see that? That is not what we want at all, right? So that's why we will have the timer invalidate. So in case the timer is already running, invalidate it. Cool. So now we can start running start the timer. Alright, nothing happens now because we haven't specified any time limit. Let's just say 10 seconds. So I can start, but I can't really pause it, right? I can't reset it either. So let's work on these functions. The first thing we'll do is work on the reset functionality. So first of all, we want seconds to be 0. You know what? We can do one thing. we can just do this and then say did set. Let's not do that actually. That discomplicates things a little bit too much. So we get back to the type text view dot text is equal to 0 0 0 0. And what else do we have to do? Invalidate the timer. Oh my god, yeah, timer dot invalidate. I completely forgot that. We invalidated the timer, and then we need not show the reset button anymore. So reset button is hidden. Is hidden. Let's see if I can type this today. Is hidden. There we go. I can type it. It's going to be true. And I think that's about it for resetting the timer. So let's just say, I don't know, this actually should work. Okay, that was past 24 hours, so that didn't work. Okay, we forgot one more thing to do. And that is, when it's set to here, we want to actually like enable this again, right? Because now it's just disabled. So let's see. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Let's just have our function here. I actually didn't think about this before I made the app. So let's just say reset, and we'll put all this code inside this reset, and here we'll just call reset, and we'll say if time text view dot text. Oh my god, that just scared me. Our text is going to be 240000. We will do reset. Whew. So that actually should be about it. Let's try running, then putting in some sort of a large number. Okay, beautiful. Now let's actually put in some valid numbers. Oh wait, that didn't work. Oh my god, I didn't do that. Text view, I mean time text view dot is editable is true. Okay, now it should work. Hopefully, please work. There we go, beautiful. Let's just say 10 seconds, hit start, hit reset, and there we go, everything is back to normal. Amazing. The next thing we have to do is enable a functionality to pause the timer. So for that, we're going to create a variable here, say has started, which is just going to be false for now, because when you start the app, timer is going to be not running. So we'll say if has started, that means we have pause, else we will do all this nonsense. Okay, and having done this, we can just say has started is true, and here we will pause. So we'll say has started is equal to false. So what do we want to do here? So we'll just sender dot set title for good sequence to start, for control state of normal. Before this, let's pause the timer. Timer dot invalidate. That's about it. And here what we'll do is we'll say sender dot set title dot pause dot normal. And if you're wondering what the sender is, it's basically whoever is clicking the button will be a sender. So that actually should work for the pausing part of it. So let's just set this to 10 seconds, hit start, hit pause, hit start again. Alright, that actually works if you ask me. And boom. Oh wait, no, that didn't finish. Oh no. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we forgot to do this. So if time text view dot text is going to be 0 0 colon 0 0, sorry, 0 0 colon 0 0 colon 0 0. We're going to reset also, and yeah, now it should work perfectly. Okay, the last thing that we have to work with is error handling. So for that, we're going to do something. I learned this from Sean Allen, and I think this is like such a beautiful idea. So let's create a file, a Swift file. This is what I mean by Swift file. Don't click on this or something. Swift file. Let's just call this alerts. Okay. More inputs make it right. Okay. So let's create a struct called alerts. Called alerts. And what we want to do is create a static function called show basic alerts. Title is just going to be some sort of a string. We're going to have a message that is also going to be some sort of a string. And we're going to present this on a view controller. It will be a UI view controller. That's the UI view controller. If you want to learn exactly like the logic and stuff behind this, Sean Allen made a wonderful video. If you haven't watched that already, watch it. Anyways, I'll try to explain this as much as possible here. So first of all, we make an alert, which will be a UI alert controller, which takes in a title. So the title we're passing it in, and the message we're passing it in. Preferred style, it's an alert. It can't be an action sheet, like come on. It really says alert here. Okay, cool. So next we're going to have a let's dismiss. This is going to be a UI alert action. Title is going to be dismiss. Cancel. The handler. Who cares about handlers anyway? Then we'll say alert.addAction. Dismiss. And then we'll finally say VC, which is the view control that's being passed into this function. Present. We'll present the alert and make it true. Don't make us about completion handlers. Anyway, there we go. So this is just going to be a very basic alert, and we can reuse the alert multiple times. So here we will say alerts.show basic alert, error, there was some kind of error trying to cut down on self. And then here, oh my god, let's see. So here we will say alerts dot show basic alert. That is going to be invalid time format. Oh my god, come on, time format. Can I type? So we'll say please make sure you enter valid time in the text view. Start with hours, then minutes, followed by seconds. For example, 1 hour, 54 minutes and 23 seconds should be, seconds should be entered as 1:54:23 on self. Okay, the next thing is we're going to again do alerts dot show basic alert. So again an invalid time format. The message is going to be please make sure you enter valid time in the text view on self, and then we will do alerts. You know what, let's do this here. methods dot show basic alert. So it is going to be timer has finished. What can I say? Finished. The message will be the timer has finished counting down from the specified specified time period itself. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. And yeah, we'll just say this. I was right. Just put this in the reset function itself. So that clears up some clutter. And one more thing that we have to do is, since we have this has started, is we're going to say has started is equal to false again. So is there anything else that we should do? Yep. The last thing we have to do is say start button dot set title start to start for normal. And honestly, I think that's pretty much it. So let's see, seconds is equal to 0. Let's just put all this here. Oops, here. That's too much of a gap for my taste. And that pretty much should be it, right? Is there anything else? I honestly don't think so. I think that's it. For the coding part of it, that is. And one small bug, if you want to call it that, is I can actually give -90 here, and if I give say 100, it will actually count down, which is, I don't know what to think about that, but I don't know. Right, that's why I didn't want to put this in this function. So we put this individually. Actually, you know what we can do? We can combine these if statements into one, like this. And I actually don't need this anymore. That's actually cleaner code. Good job, Kailash. You've done a good job. Okay. Now let's just start to refactor our code a little bit. So we'll say func pause timer, and we put all of this code in here, and then we have func start timer, and then you have all of this code here, and here we can just say pause timer and start timer. And if you ask me, this looks way neater, like the code. Let's see. You actually don't have to do this, but I just like the way this looks, like a very neat call site. We have an error here. Cannot find sentence code. Oh, that's fine. We can just say start button. That's a title. Start button. That's a title. That should rid us of these errors. And looks like that's good. So we'll get rid of that and say extension new controller, put all of this in there, and then let's just, okay, all of this were outside, let's just move that in, and then let's have a new Swift file that's a new controller. You know what, let's just do one more thing. It bugs me that this is called view controller. That tells me nothing, so we'll just say timer that looks way neater. So anyway, make a new file, timer pc plus ext. This is another convention I learned from Sean Allen, which is plus ext. I really like that idea, so that's that. Get rid of all of that and paste that in here, and just look at that, will you? What a neat call site. We honestly don't even need this method because we don't use it, and this actually should work. Let's just run this real quick. You see that everything works. So I'm just going to give a small time interval of like 9 minutes and 23 seconds. Hit start. It works. Click reset. Got reset. What do I actually want to do? Yeah, here I actually want to have an alert. Show basic alert, timer, set, and I'm just going to put this whole thing in Xcode function. Oh my god, this is a little tense. Let's just put this reset timer, and then here we will say reset timer. Now before I end the video, let's just test all the edge cases. So hit start, invalid time format, that's cool, that's what I need. Let's actually change this slightly in the text view, other than 00. Okay, let's just run that again. Hit start, cool. Let's just put, I don't know, -23 invalid time format, sounds good. Let's put some random text. Invalid time format is there was the -4. Cool, perfect. Okay, so I think that's about it for this video. Okay, I like this. Okay, one last thing I want to do, one thing I want to tell you guys before ending the video off is that for the purpose of this timer, once it reaches 0, that is once it reaches this end point, then you can have it play some sort of an alarm sound, which would make it a more complete timer app. But for our purposes, this is good enough. If I try to do that, the video will be extremely long. Also, I'm not going to bother refactoring these files. You can do that yourself. I have trust in you. You can follow whatever convention you want. To be honest, I think I'll just refactor it anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna refactor it. So we'll have our screens, where in this case we only have the timer PC, and then we will have X utilities, where we will have this, and then this, and this, and then let's create a new group in here, X functions, where I'll put this, and then we'll have a new group, models, where I'll have this and this, and there we go, a completely refactored project. Honestly, some people like to refactor these app delegates, scene delegates into their own folders. I don't like that idea. I just like having it here. Also, I learned this refactoring from Sean Allen again. So yeah, he's a big inspiration. Big ups to him. Anyways, I think that wraps it up for this video. I'll upload the entire completed project in the description. You can also like work on the constraints and stuff to make it work on multiple devices if you so please. And yeah, other than that, I think that's going to conclude it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.